Hello and welcome to another episode of BuffSports Live. It's been a busy week in America. Yesterday was the one-year anniversary of the World Health Organization declaring the coronavirus a global pandemic. The men's basketball Pac-12 tournament ended abruptly and the NCAA tournaments were canceled. In the past year, sports have been stopped, postponed, rescheduled. Athletes, coaches, and fans have adjusted to a new normal. BuffSports Live's Troy Finnegan in his studio to walk us through the Colorado Buffaloes' experience with the coronavirus.
What a year it has been. 1 year ago this past week, COVID came to the United States and the effect on CU sports was felt immediately. The first domino to fall was March Madness, robbing the Buffs of what likely would have been their first NCAA tournament appearance since 2016. But the snowball effect didn't stop there. Rapidly, all sports were suspended, then canceled through the spring. Delays and protocol concerns clouded the impending fall and winter seasons with uncertainty. But, slowly, things began to return to normal. Backtracking on their original decision, the Pac-12 made the call to reinstate multiple fall sports seasons.
It's a bit tough, not only for myself, but the whole team and the coaches. And, we're here to play football, and that's what we wanted to do. And at first, having that taken away from us was kind of a tough pill to swallow. Myself and the team would have loved to have a full season, but we're thankful for what we have, and I think with everything going on, just being able to play is huge for myself and also my teammates.
Fall sports made it through a conference season and a postseason, and winter sports were cleared to go. Safe to say that the Buffs men's and women's basketball coaches, Tad Boyle and J.R. Payne, were stoked.
At the end of the day, this is not about presidents. It's not about administrators. It's not about coaches. Today's a great day for our student athletes. And I can tell you there's nobody happier right now than our players.
So I definitely can feel a lift, an emotional lift in our team. We were disappointed when we heard January, and we were hopeful, that this day would come. So we're very excited.
Even in such a unique season with no fans, constant COVID tests, and postponements and cancellations galore, we have come full circle into mid-March once again. With Selection Sunday, one that never came a year ago, on the horizon, the Buffs will get the March Madness bid that is a year overdue. But more importantly, a year later, things are looking up and not down. And that, my friends, is something to celebrate. Back to you, Alexa.
That's right, Troy. It's time to celebrate. Especially after last night, the Buffs won their first game in the Pac-12 tournament, beating the Cal Bears in a nail-biter 61-58. Evan Batty stepped up for Colorado with 15 points and 5 rebounds. The Buffs play USC tonight at 9:30 on ESPN. Buffs Trojans is always an intense matchup after Tad Boyle and USC coach Andy Enfield exchanged some not-so-nice words a few years ago.
Time of year, especially in league tournaments like this, there's no secrets. There's no secrets that we have that USC doesn't know about. I don't think there's a lot of secrets they have that we don't know about. It's just who's going to execute and play best tomorrow night. And we're going to have to play well to beat them. We're going to have to play better than we played tonight. I can promise you that. And I really believe that we will.
Even though McKinley Wright hasn't gotten the national respect he deserves, he has been recognized in the Pac-12. The senior point guard was named to the All-Pac-12 first team for the third season in a row. Fellow senior Evan Batty is an honorable mention to the first team. Elijah Parquette was named to the All-Pac-12 defensive squad, and Jabari Walker earned a spot on the all-freshman team for the Pac-12. The women's basketball team had a disappointing showing at the Pac-12 tournament. They lost in the first round. Now they wait until Sunday to see if their resume is good enough to earn them a spot in the big dance. The ESPN selection is set for Monday at 5 p.m. The committee will release WNIT bids afterwards. Coach J.R. Payne and the Buffs were convinced that they would have gotten a WNIT bid last season had the tournament continued as planned. And now it's time for our trivia question. This week, with our jam-packed COVID and Pac-12 tournament show, we're asking you, first, when was the last sporting event played before the COVID-19 lockdown? And our second question is, when was the last time the Buffs earned a bye in the Pac-12 tournament? Stay tuned, we'll have the answer for you later in the show. 2 questions, 1 show. Yes, you are welcome. Speaking of questions, there's a question mark on the lacrosse matches for this weekend. We'll tell you why coming up next. The lacrosse.
This deserves a second look. Michael taking off, the patented tongue comes out. Just in front of that line. Look at this, the double clutch, the reach out.
Pass in left wing, looks behind him, wide open, right wing, up top, open for three, fires.
Really good basketball, Mark. Unselfish, smart basketball.
Open for three, fires, nothing but nylon from downtown. Good.
The lacrosse team was supposed to have their Pac-12 opener today against the Oregon Ducks, but that's been canceled because of COVID protocols with the Oregon Ducks. It's their non-conference schedule. Colorado is 1-2, winning their only home game against number 14 Denver. With today's game canceled, the Buffs look to Sunday for their next game against San Diego State. Because of the big snowstorm we expect this weekend, the Buffs and Aztecs will face off inside the indoor practice facility, bright and early at 10 a.m. So maybe some mimosas in lacrosse for CU fans? But fans won't be allowed to watch the match in person since it's indoors. Meanwhile, the Aztecs are playing today in Denver. The volleyball team is coming off a big win against UCLA. They're looking to notch a few more against the Arizona Wildcats in a pair of matches slated for today and Sunday. Offensively, Alyssa Alcantara is leading the team with 105 kills. Megan Hart leads with 42 blocks on the defensive side. Hart tallied 13 kills and 8 blocks against UCLA. Her performance was so dominant that she was named the Pac-12 Defensive Player of the Week. Wins in both matches this week would bring them to 500, heading into the final stretch of the season. And now to a sad story about a CU Buff football player that didn't work out. Antonio Alfano was once the #1 prospect in all of college football. He committed to the University of Alabama, then entered the transfer portal. CU's head coach Mel Tucker brought him to CU, then left. Carl Durrell suspended Alfano for a violation of team rules. He was reinstated in August, but couldn't be cleared medically. Then, Alfano released a note app statement detailing his struggle with epilepsy and his difficulty getting help at CU. Head coach Durrell said Alfano had been offered help, but it's, quote, a two-way street. Either way, Alfano's time at CU has ended before it really got started. He's entered the transfer portal. We wish him the best of luck. We have some football combine events to tell you about. The NFL announced a list of 323 draft prospects last Wednesday, featuring Colorado's offensive linemen. This year, we'll be seeing former CU Buff tackle William Sherman. Pre-COVID, the combine would be in Indianapolis, but this year, workouts will be held on college campuses with virtual interviews and psychological tests. This year, the combine will begin on Thursday, April 29th until Saturday, May 1st. Now, all this sports talk may be great for some of our fans, but not BuffSports Live's Georgia Worrell. Here she is to tell you why.
Last week was International Women's Day, so today I'd like to shout out all of CU's rockstar female athletes. I admire these women for dedicating so much of their time and energy to something that they feel so passionately about. My hat is off to all of them. I, however, see the whole sports thing in a little bit of a different light. I'm embarrassed to even say this out loud. Let's just say that when I was in 6th grade, I was strongly encouraged to join the basketball team, and at our first game, when a buzzer rang for the first time indicating a timeout, I threw my hands in the air and began cheering because I wholeheartedly thought that the game was over. And well, things have not gotten much better since then. When I attended my first football game at CU in the fall of 2018 and CU got possession of the ball, I looked at my friend and said, "Does that guy get to pick which way he's going to run with it?" Anyway, you get the gist. So here I am, reporting for BuffSports Live for the purpose of saving myself from myself. I'm here to learn more about CU athletics and see if I can make sense out of this whole sports thing. Feel free to send any words of encouragement, ideas, suggestions, or insults my way. Back to you, Alexa.
Well, we're glad you're here and learning with all of us. Georgia, thank you. Stay tuned, Rapid Fire is coming up next. and we'll get the answer to our trivia question.
They were nervous and inexperienced, as new faces looking to achieve greatness. As the years went on, they grew confident in their abilities.
Maybe. Yes, sir!
Now they look to guide others in the same pursuit.
There it is! Can you believe it?
All are welcome to be featured on the biggest stage.
Is it his time? Yes!
We invite you to discover what you're capable of at BuffSports Live.
Hello, and welcome to the fastest, hottest segment known to man and woman. It's time for Rapid Fire. I'm Gus Oswald. Kicking things off for us this weekend is the soccer team against number 14 USC. Then we're going vertical with volleyball in Arizona. Tonight at 6, get rid of those hangovers because lacrosse is playing against San Diego State early on Sunday morning. Then it's golf in the third round of the Clover Cup all day Sunday. 4. All right, Alexa, back to you.
Thanks, Gus. Now it's time for the answers to our trivia questions. Remember, this week we asked you 2 questions. The first one, what was the last sporting event played in the U.S. before the COVID-19 lockdown? The answer is, drum roll please, Washington State versus Colorado at the T-Mobile Arena. That's right, our men's basketball team had the last matchup before COVID shut down sports. The Buffs lost 82-68 in the first round of the Pac-12 tournament. And now, the second trivia question is, when was the last time the Buffs had a first round bye in the Pac-12 tournament? The answer, never. We got you there, didn't we? This year is the first time the Buffs have had a first round bye in the Pac-12 tournament. Third is the highest the Buffs have been ranked in a conference tournament. The last time they were ranked this high was in 1996 and 97 during the Big 12 days. And now to our tweet of the week. We're showing you 2 tweets back to back, almost a year apart. The first is from last night, a tweet from the Colorado basketball account announcing the game against Cal. The second is from a year ago today, the Pac-12 announcing they've canceled all sporting events because of the coronavirus. We're not out of the woods yet, but look how far we've come in 1 year. We know the last year has been tough on everyone, but we at BuffSports Live are glad sports are back. Stay safe and healthy, everyone, and hopefully things will get back to normal soon. We'll see you next week.